morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. This is Ejani with an update for STEAM. Now, I have been asked by subscribers quite a bit about Tyler Jenks regarding his hyperwaves, which is very interesting. It models very close to the bubble phase, but I think the validity of the hyperwaves, just like anything else, really depends on the evidence of performance. Now, for the historical evidence of performance, based on what Tyler has presented, it's quite impressive. It tells me that the hyperwaves is another way of measuring price action, which is to me the most direct reflection of sentiment. So, having reviewed some of his instructive videos for a while now on the hyperwaves, I wanted to take this chart of STEAM and see if we can do the same thing. Can we identify the 7 phases of the hyperwaves? And to that end, I'm using a linear chart. I have not yet been able to correctly or identify the phases of a hyperwave on a semi-log charting. So as Tyler says, the linear charting is the best for the hyperwaves. Now there are 7 phases to the hyperwaves. My understanding, and please correct me, Tyler, if this is not right, if you happen to be watching this video. My understanding is that phases 1, 5, and 7, the lines for those phases, are drawn across the tops of the price bars. So we can say this is phase 1, this very long lateral horizontal price direction. And if I can then take the trend line and call this a phase 2, and we clearly had a phase 3 and a vertical phase 4, let's say. Okay, so phase 1, now phase 2, 3, 4, and 6. The phase lines are drawn across the bottoms of the price bars. And sure enough, according to Hyperwave, it collapsed. Now, that collapse is the phase 5 if you draw it across the tops. In fact, let's make the 1, 5, and 7 blue. So phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and appropriately it ended in a needle peak and then collapsed. Now phase 6 can never exceed the peak of the phase 4. Didn't even come close. And this phase 6 looked very textbook to what Tyler has been presenting on his YouTube videos. And then the phase 7. And this is again drawn across the tops. So my understanding is that phase 7 is, or must basically, reach towards or below the phase 1 line. And that's pretty much what we have here. Price went to 0.21 and went below the phase 1 line. And what is price doing now is going sideways. Could it be preparing for another phase, hyperwave 1? Could it be so that this phase 1 is going to be established again if we measure the length of the horizontal direction, which was 175 days, and measure the horizontal direction so far, which is 98 days. It is potential, as Tyler says, that there are scenarios where a second hyperwave can take off after the phase 7 of the first completes. So what this tells me, I think, is that the current lateral direction could have the potential of setting up a run for a second hyperwave scenario. So I thought this was very interesting. I'm not an expert in hyperwaves in any way whatsoever, but I found the videos from Tyler to be very interesting. And if this is the case, then I think this current hyperwave could be said to be complete. And if it is complete, I would be very curious, keenly interested in to see how long this lateral direction goes for potential onset of a second hyperwave activity. All right, I hope you found this to be helpful. Have a great day.